Advisory Council approves Ramadan office hours 9 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. with prayer break from 1 to 1:15 p.m. Nine citizens, one organization honored with Ekushey Padak for outstanding contributions in different fields. Election Commission dispatches ballots to 116 constituencies, all the rest to receive by February 7. If elected, Jamaat will transform North Bengal into an agricultural capital, says Dr. Shafiqur Rahman. Bot force-led smear campaigns and lies cannot uproot nationalist forces, says Ruhul Kabir Rizvi. Death penalty for 6, life term for 7 in Ashulia crimes against humanity case for burning 6 bodies. Omar Ekushey Book Fair to begin on February 20. United States and Iran hold talks in Oman amid ongoing tensions. And in Mirpur, Dhumketu 11 beat Duronto 11 by 6 wickets in the inaugural match of the Odummo Bangladesh T20 Cup. Assalamu alaikum viewers, this is news at 10 on BTV News. I am Imtiaz Ahmed Siddiqui. You just heard the headlines. Let's move on to the detailed stories. All offices of the government, semi-government, autonomous and semi-autonomous bodies will function from 9 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. during the upcoming month of Holy Ramadan. During office hours, there will be a 15-minute break from 1 p.m. to 1:15 p.m. for Zuhar prayers. The decision was taken at the weekly meeting of the Council of Advisors at the Chief Advisor's office with Chief Advisor Professor Mohammad Yunus in the chair today. The Advisory Council gave final approval to the drafts of the Workplace and Educational Institutions Ordinance 2026, the Domestic Violence Prevention Ordinance 2026, the Bangladesh Gas Amendment Ordinance 2026, the Postal Service Ordinance 2026, the Bangladesh Forest Industries Development Corporation Ordinance 2026, and the Bangabandhu National Agricultural Award Trust Amendment Ordinance 2026. Due to the approval of the draft of the Bangabandhu National Agricultural Award Trust Amendment Ordinance 2026, the name of the award will now be changed to National Agricultural Award. Besides, the Council approved a proposal to exempt 7.5% VAT on LP gas at local production and the trader level and 2% advance tax on import, while imposing only a 7.5% VAT at the import stage of the LP gas. The Advisory Council also approved another proposal to establish the Urban Safety and Resilience Institute USRI Bangladesh as a public trust under the Ministry of Housing and Public Works. Later, Chief Advisor's Press Secretary Shafiqul Alam briefed the media at the Foreign Service Academy, saying the Advisory Council discussed a series of agenda and gave approvals.
হিজরি 1447-2026 সালের রমজান মাসের জন্য অফিস সময়সূচি নির্ধারণের প্রস্তাব অনুমোদন হয়েছে। এর ফলে রমজান মাস আপনারা জানেন এটা 18 বা 19 তারিখে শুরু হবে। এর ফলে রমজানের যে ওয়ার্ক যেটা অফিস আওয়ারটা যেটা হবে 9টা থেকে 3:30 পর্যন্ত, আর দুপুর বেলায় 15 মিনিটের 1টা থেকে 1:15 পর্যন্ত নামাজের বিরতি পাবেন, জোহরের নামাজের বিরতি। এলপি গ্যাসের স্থানীয় উৎপাদন ও ব্যবসায়ী পর্যায়ে আরোপিত 7.5% ভ্যাট এবং 2% আগাম কর অব্যাহতি প্রদানপূর্বক এলপি গ্যাসের আমদানি পর্যায়ে 7.5% ভ্যাট আরোপের প্রস্তাব অনুমোদন করা হয়েছে। এটার ফলে যেটা হবে যে এলপি গ্যাসের উপরে যে কর যে ভার, এই কর ভার একটু হলেও কমবে এবং এর ফলে লোকাল মার্কেটে এলপি গ্যাসের দাম আরো কমে আসবে। 8ই অগাস্ট 2024 থেকে 31শে জানুয়ারির মধ্যে মোট 68টা রেগুলার উইকলি ক্যাবিনেট মিটিং হয়েছে। 526টি ডিসিশন নিয়েছে, সিদ্ধান্ত নিয়েছে। 526টা ডিসিশনের মধ্যে বাস্তবায়িত হয়েছে 439টি। ইমপ্লিমেন্টেশনের হার 83.46। অধ্যাদেশ জারি হয়েছে 116টি, আর প্রক্রিয়াধীন আছে আরো 16টি। আর তার মধ্যে 16টির মধ্যে নীতিগতভাবে আরো অধ্যাদেশ জারি হয়েছে, অনুমোদন হয়েছে 3টি। নীতিমালা 14টি, দ্বিপাক্ষিক চুক্তি হয়েছে 14টি, আর উপদেষ্টা পরিষদের জন্য সারসংক্ষেপ উপস্থাপন করা হয়েছে মোট 348টি।
The government has announced the names of 9 eminent citizens and 1 musical band for awarding the prestigious Ekushey Padak 2026 in recognition of their outstanding contribution to various fields. The recipients of the Ekushey Padak 2026 are Farida Akhtar Bobita Film, Professor Mohammad Abdul Sattar Fine Arts, Marina Tabassum Architecture, Ayub Bachu Music, Arati Ahmed Dance, Islamuddin Palakar Theatre, Shafiq Rahman Journalism, Professor Dr. Mahbubul Alam Mojumdar Education, Tejosh Haladar Josh Sculpture and Warfaze Musical Band. The Ministry of Cultural Affairs annually confers the award in different categories to honor individuals and institutions for their outstanding contributions to different fields. Chief Advisor Professor Mohammad Yunus has stressed on imparting problem-solving training, saying that different individuals may be skilled in solving different problems, but unskilled persons should learn the skills from skilled ones. The Chief Advisor made the remarks while receiving a report on the activities and the institutional evaluation of training institutions. The Governance Innovation Unit GIU of the Chief Advisor's Office submitted the report to Professor Yunus at the State Guest House Jamuna this afternoon. Putting emphasis on building strong training institutions, the Chief Advisor said institutions themselves should be ranked first, second and third. Private sector officials and employees will be allowed to receive training at these institutions so that they can feel proud to be trained at a good institution, he added. Stressing on including an anti-corruption campaign in training, the Chief Advisor said there must be no corruption in government service or in any government institution. We must emphasize on it during training. Technology must be used and all necessary training arrangements must be made for this, Professor Yunus said, adding, our goal is singular. Citizens should not have to go to the individuals or to government offices. Government services must reach citizens directly. On the occasion, members of the report preparing committee informed that this was the first initiative in Bangladesh to evaluate training institutions and other ongoing activities, making the task particularly challenging. Defining appropriate standards, identifying indicators for measuring those standards, determining measurement techniques and setting measurement scales were complex tasks, they said. Therefore, the learning by doing approach was followed and stakeholder opinions were taken at every stage. Chief Advisor's Principal Secretary M. Sirajuddin Mia, Senior Secretary and Principal Coordinator for SDG Affairs Lamia Murshid, Chief Advisor's Office Secretary M. Safiullah Panna and Public Administration Ministry Senior Secretary Mohammad Ehsanul Haq were present on the occasion, among others. Senior Secretary of the Election Commission Secretariat Akhtar Ahmed said that so far ballot papers has been sent to 116 parliamentary seats. He informed this to the newsman after a meeting between Chief Election Commissioner A.M.M. Nasiruddin and European Union delegation at Agargaon Nirbachan Bhavan in the capital today. The EC Secretary said that so far 1,050 executive magistrates have started working to ensure peaceful election environment. Earlier, a 6-member delegation led by European Union Election Observation Mission, EVARS IJABS, held a meeting with CEC. After the meeting, EVARS IJABS briefed newsmen saying that the European Union wants to see a free, fair and neutral election participated by all community. He also commented that the European Union is satisfied with the activities of Election Commission. Members of Bangladesh Judicial Service Pay Commission, led by its chairman, Justice SZAM Imdadul Haq, called on President Mohammad Shahabuddin at Bongo Bhavan today. During the meeting, they also submitted the Commission's report to the President and briefed about various aspects of the report. High officials of Bongo Bhavan were present. The upcoming 13th National Parliamentary election is knocking at the door. With only 7 days remaining, centering on the election, campaign activities have intensified across the country. From morning till night, candidates are holding street meetings, rallies and gatherings, presenting various development-oriented plans and pledging to stand by the people in the days ahead. Female candidates are also actively participating in the campaigns, and as a result, women voters are becoming increasingly conscious in choosing the most suitable candidates. Amid this election enthusiasm in cities, ports, neighborhoods and alleyways, lively discussions and criticisms are prevailing among conscious voters. Ordinary voters say that although leadership has changed repeatedly in the name of governments, corruption has not changed. Therefore, voters are demanding a free and fair election and want to elect only deserving candidates. This election of the 13th National Parliament has added a new dimension through a referendum. This time, voters will be able to cast 2 votes simultaneously, pledging for change in the country. At the same time, expatriate voters will also be able to participate in both votes through the Postal Vote BD app. Jamaat Amir Dr. Shafiqur Rahman has said that the entire northern region will be transformed into a center of agricultural industry if his alliance comes to power. He made the remarks today while addressing separate election rallies in Nagaon and Chapainawabganj as the chief guest. Shafiqur Rahman added that Jamaat-e-Islami's core commitment is to build a corruption-free society, uphold the rule of law and establish a justice-oriented state. Criticizing previous rulers, the Jamaat Amir said those who came to power only empowered themselves, failed to empower the people and carried out large-scale corruption in the name of mega projects. Addressing the people of Nagaon, he said the district supplies 1/10 of the country's total food demand and pledged efforts to further develop the area. The propaganda of technology seems endless in resorting to character assassination, spreading malign and misinformation. However, this propaganda and falsehood cannot uproot the roots of nationalist strength. BNP Senior Joint Secretary General Ruhul Kabir Rizvi said this at the opening session of campaign song for 13th Parliament election. Jatiyotawadi Samajik Sanskritik Songstha JASAS organized the program at Shilpokala Academy in the capital today. The BNP leader alleged that a well-planned attempt is being made today to spread a type of false propaganda against those who have fought relentlessly for democracy. He urged all, including poet, literature, artist, lyricist, actor and composers, to work unitedly against defame and propaganda. A total of 3,79,924 postal ballots sent by expatriate voters registered through the Postal Vote BD app have so far reached Bangladesh for the upcoming 13th Jatiyo সংসদ election and referendum. Team leader on expatriate voter registration, Salim Ahmed Khan, told BSS today that the ballots were received as part of the ongoing postal voting process for expatriate voters. As of 9:30 this morning, a total of 7,66,862 ballots have been sent to expatriates registered through the app, he said, adding that among them 5,26,008 expatriates have received their ballots, while 4,80,416 have already cast their vote. Besides, 4,44,952 expatriate voters have submitted their ballots to the post offices or postal departments of the respective countries. Among these, returning officers have so far received 107,168 ballots. Alongside overseas voters, the Election Commission has also started sending postal ballots to voters residing within the country under ICPV. So far, ballots have been sent to the addresses of 6,62,191 registered voters inside the country. According to the latest EC data, 2,60,447 voters inside the country have received their ballots. Of them, 2,11,122 voters have cast their votes and 1,68,519 have submitted their ballots to the post offices or mailboxes. Returning officers have so far received 27,367 ballots. The International Crimes Tribunal ICT2 has sentenced 6 individuals, including former lawmaker Mohammad Saiful Islam of Dhaka 19 constituency, to death. They were indicted in a crimes against humanity case over the shooting of 6 people and the burning of their bodies in Savar's Ashulia during the July uprising. The court also sentenced 7 others to life imprisonment and 2 others to 7 years imprisonment each in the case. The 3-member bench of the International Crimes Tribunal 2, led by Justice Nazrul Islam Chaudhry, pronounced the judgment today. The other 2 members of the tribunal are Justice Muhammad Manzoor al-Bashid and Justice Noor Muhammad Shahriar Kabir. Other death row convicts are former officer in charge of Ashulia Police Station AFM Syed Roni, former Sub-Inspector Abdul Malik, former Assistant Sub-Inspector Bishwajit Shaha, former Constable Mukul Chokdar and Jubilee activist Roni Bhuiya. The tribunal sentenced former Deputy Inspector General of Police Syed Noorul Islam, former Superintendent of Police Muhammad Asaduzzaman Ripon, former Additional Superintendent of Police Muhammad Abdullah Al-Kafi and Muhammad Shahidul Islam, former Inspectors Muhammad Masoodur Rahman, Nirmal Kumar Dash and Muhammad Arafat Hussain to life imprisonment. Former Sub-Inspector Arafatuddin and former Assistant Sub-Inspector Kamrul Hassan were sentenced to 7 years in jail. The court pardoned former Sub-Inspector Sheikh Afzalul Haq, who had pleaded guilty and became an approver. The court also ordered the confiscation of the properties of former lawmaker Saiful Islam in favor of the state and distribute those among the families of the victims. Foreign Affairs Advisor Mohammad Tawheed Hussain today said Bangladesh-India relations faced some setbacks during the interim government but remained important, expressing hope that an elected government would help smoothen the ties through constructive engagement. Speaking at an exchange of views meeting with the media at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the advisor said Dhaka has consistently emphasized maintaining good working relations, reciprocal respect and mutual interest with New Delhi, and there has been no difference of opinion within the government on the need for strong bilateral ties. He, however, acknowledged that progress stalled in several areas, describing the situation as not a major crisis but a period without forward movement. The advisor said differing perceptions of national interests between the 2 countries contributed to the slowdown, noting that each side pursued its own priorities, which did not always coincide. Responding to questions, the advisor said that interim government is advancing key negotiations, including trade talks with the United States and other partners, to ease the workload of the next elected government. Tawheed Hussain said the interim government was not leaving behind unresolved burdens, but was instead pushing forward several important issues to ensure continuity. Citing trade negotiations with the United States, he said Bangladesh has remained actively engaged in discussions helping reduce tariffs from earlier levels of 25 to 37 to 20%. Responding another question, he said that negotiations on agreements with Japan and other countries were not sudden developments but the result of initiatives launched earlier and followed up over the past 1.5 years. Senior officials of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs were present at the meeting. Environment, Forest and Climate Change Advisor Sayyida Rizwana Hassan has emphasized that sustainable development must always prioritize the preservation of nature and never involve the destruction of nature. The advisor made these remarks while attending the 24th Asian Bioethics Conference organized by the Bangladesh Bioethics Society at the permanent campus of the State University of Bangladesh at Rupganj in Narayanganj today. Sayyida Rizwana Hassan stressed that the preservation of nature should be at the center of all state-level planning processes. She warned that failure to take effective action against global warming and climate change would pose a serious threat in the near future. The organizers noted that this year's Bioethics Conference will discuss climate change, biodiversity, health and various other issues related to sustainable development. The conference will conclude on February 7 with participation from researchers across 13 countries along with 200 policymakers, researchers, doctors, environmentalists, educationists and students. Army Chief General Waqaruzzman has visited the Army camp at the National Stadium and held discussions with civil administration officials ahead of the upcoming parliamentary election and the referendum. During a meeting at the National Stadium Conference Hall, the Army Chief exchanged views with senior military officers, as well as officials from the Dhaka Metropolitan, Divisional and District administrations, along with representatives of various law enforcement agencies. The discussions focused on interinstitutional coordination and overall security management to ensure the upcoming parliamentary election is conducted peacefully, impartially and smoothly. General Waqaruzzman emphasized the importance of professionalism, neutrality, discipline, patience and citizen-friendly conduct in carrying out election duties. He also closely monitored the activities of Army personnel deployed under the In Aid to the Civil Power initiative and provided necessary guidance. Senior military officers from Dhaka and Savar, the Dhaka Divisional Commissioner, high-ranking officials from the civil administration and law enforcement agencies, along with representatives from various media outlets, were present during the visit. Air Chief Marshal Hassan Mahmud Khan said that Bangladesh Air Force is committed to presenting the nation with an exemplary election. He made the remarks today while briefing Air Force personnel deployed at the field level on the occasion of the 13th National Parliamentary Election and the 2026 referendum. Senior officials from Air Force headquarters and various bases were present at the briefing. The Air Force chief said that for the first time, Air Force personnel will be deployed at the field level alongside the Army during an election. He instructed the personnel to perform their duties with complete professionalism and without any form of bias to ensure a free, fair and orderly voting process. Amur Ekushey Book Fair will begin on February 20 this year, although it is a tradition to commence the fair on the very first of the language month. Like every year, Bangla Academy will arrange the month-long book fair remembering the language heroes. Amur Ekushey Book Fair 2026 Managing Committee Member Secretary Dr. Muhammad Salim Reza told a press conference at Bangla Academy today. In a written statement, he said this month-long book fair is an essential part of Bengali culture and heritage. Taking the demands of the publishers in consideration, the stall rent has been reduced by 25% this year. He said, adding all arrangements related to the book fair have already been completed. Sohrawardi Uddan has been allocated from the government. Stall construction work is underway. Schedules of the discussions and cultural programs of the book fair have been finalized, he said. About allocation of stalls in the book fair, he said, as many as 53 new entities have applied for stall booking this year, in addition to 527 institutions of last year. He said when the work of the book fair was 60% completed, about the request of some publishers to arrange this year's book fair after Eid al-Fitr, Dr. Muhammad Salim Reza said the request came after 60% completion of the work of the fair. Moreover, arrangement of the month-long book fair in April is not realistic due to hot weather condition and dust pollution along with the strong risk of rainfall, nor'wester and twister, he said. Responding to a question, Bangla Academy Director General Professor Muhammad Azam said, as the fair will be held throughout the holy month of Ramadan, arrangements have there for Taraweeh prayers and food stalls for iftar. And now internationally,